If you'd like to sponsor Still Got Game, give us a call at 773-527-2961 or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 526. Still Got Game's official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I'm Brian Shadow Emmerich.
And there's no Selden here tonight.
Yep. He's
Still
out there,
not sure how true any of his stories are.
Is being lazy in a hammock camping.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I've been made aware of.
Yeah. But yeah.
So good on him.
Yeah, good on him. That's right. Yes.
Good on him.
So at least the reliable folks are here. So
right.
So we'll try to do a show. It's without Selden. Who knows? It could be a train wreck. It could be the best thing you've ever heard. But only time will tell.
It'll be better in some ways and worse in some ways. It'll be fine.
All right. It'll average out.
It'll average out to about normal.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, if you're in chat right now, you want us to discuss something, drop it in chat and we'll try to work in the show. Otherwise, we'll hop right over the mailbag for feedback and questions from our last episode. And remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Oh, Snapper comments. I didn't mean to take away from D Smooth. I just meant sharing the load during the show might make things easier. This was the commenter that said we should share the switch out who's
hosting duties,
running the show. Yeah. Yes, yeah.
It would not make things easier. I promise you. I promise you.
I pretty much can do this show in my sleep. At least all of my segues in my sleep. But yes, yeah. Actually, I'm probably sure anyone that's listening to the show can probably do most of the segues. But let's say we were going from one news story to another, Shadow. What would you say?
I would say next story.
See, there you see, it writes itself. Oh,
been
yes.
Like 15 years of this. So,
so yeah, it is possible. But yeah, I was not offended, oh Snapper. But thank you for the follow-up comment. LPOC80 asks, how do you all manage? I hate when people do that. I'm gonna take a brief aside here.
Y'all.
No one says you all, except for you guys down in the south. We don't say that up here. We just say you or you guys, but we don't say you all. But anyway, no offense. So we'll carry on. How do you all manage? And I have to say it in that accent too. How do you all manage? And there's so much offense. How do you all manage balancing your video game playing and your TV/movie viewing? I am getting behind on my viewing since I'm doing a lot of playing.
Well,
You're probably the right one to answer this because I don't have a good balance. At all. No.
Yeah, I don't sleep much. I think last night I got like 4.5. I don't know. I have kids, I have a dog, I have a wife, and I have games and I have movies and TV, and that's kind of what I do. I do all that stuff, and that's pretty much what I do. I do some outside stuff sometimes, but I would say that I go on certain benders of I just want to watch all the movies I have stacked up for the past couple weeks for these next week or two. I just do that. Or I catch up on a whole TV show or a bunch of TV shows and I don't play anything. And then I start to get into games, and once I'm into games, I usually just keep playing them for a while until I kind of burn out. So I don't know. I mean, I don't go do a whole lot of back and forth because once I get into a game, I usually want to play it all the time until it's done.
I hear you.
So yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man. I mean, you got to prioritize, and if you have things that are more important than games and movies, do it. I would say it's fun, and this is what our cast is about. But it's all about balance. So if you don't just do media, if you have other things to be doing, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I said, I'm the opposite. I'm not a good balancer. If there's a great game, I'll play that all the time. like I did with Halo when Halo was good and those kind of things.
Oh yeah.
And then when the games start letting me down, that's when I switch more to the TV stuff or the movie stuff. And I try to work that stuff in, but then now we all have this stupid wrestling stuff that we watch, like that's on 3 or 4 nights a week that screws everything up. Um, but yeah, I'm not a good balancer. So yeah, do what Shadow said. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's try to balance it. I mean, I definitely get the whole thing where you're like obsessed about a game. Like I played Halo 3 for I played it every night for like
yep.
2 or 3 years.
Years. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Just every night. But that's
Yep.
before I had kids and I wasn't even married then, and really, or near the end I was. But it was a different world and I was a lot younger, so I can't play the same game every night, all night, uh, anymore. I get kind of burnt out and I want to do other things. So plus, I mean, I'm more of an achievement hunter these days, and if you play the same game all night every night,
You're
you're never
not
going to get
getting
any more
new
achievements.
achievements.
So no, I mean, Halo 3, you'd get more DLC, but eventually the maps would stop coming out and then you'd be done.
Yeah.
So I definitely my first few years of Halo, first few years of Xbox, I was like 3,000 gamer score, and that was it because I never played anything else. Some nights my clan would be offline and I would play something else, and then I get some achievements. But then I noticed like as soon as Halo Reach came out and I didn't really like it that much, my achievements started to go way up because I started to play a bunch of other stuff. So it's just I don't know. It's a good to balance it, and I definitely go on spurts where I just don't want to play. And we'll come to the show and I'd be like, "What'd you play?" Nothing really this week. I mean, Derek knows how that is, so
No, my
you
shit
just
goes in phases. Like when I was playing Vampire Survivors, I would get home from work and I would put in like 6, 8 hours of just repeating that same 30-minute loop over and over and over and over.
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I need a break from this. And
Yeah.
then there hasn't really been a better game for me, but I'm sure like my shit will shift at some point, just like Shadows did, and we all adapt different ways. So there's no right or wrong answer, LPOC 80, but you figure out what gets your vibe on and just do that. So
And decide how much sleep is worth to you.
no,
You care
yeah,
about it. I just don't sleep
exactly.
that much.
All right. Charisma Devil asks, I'm still a new listener to your show, but it seems like Alteus always gets to submit a question. How did that come about, or is it a long story? Um, it's it's probably a short story and a long story, but uh, I don't even remember when Alteus started asking questions. It's probably like 5 years into the show. And then we got a really great question from Alteus that seemed way more educated than most of our questions. Like it involved industry stuff and was really poignant. And then we answered it. And then that next week, another one came in that was a genius question. And uh, Derek Code Monkey Shomer and I, we really liked the questions that were coming in. So we started just making sure we took his one and put it as our last question each week. Um, there were some weak weeks that Altius did not have the best questions, but I would say for the most part, Altius is running at like a 97% quality questions, maybe lower now. I've like maybe 95, but for the most part, Altius like we did the deep dive on him, and well Sullivan did, and figured out who he was, and um but he obviously has some industry insight. Definitely thinks more about questions than most people. So if Charisma Devil, if you have some brilliant questions and you keep submitting them week after week, you could become the next Altius. Maybe you could, usurp Altius. And I don't know, no pressure, Altius. So yeah, but that's the story in short and long form. Uh, Ask good questions, and we'll keep using your questions. ask a one-off
Yeah.
question, it's probably going to be a one-off mention of you on the show. So
I mean, I've only been a listener for most of the life of the show, but as a listener and on the cast as well, I always feel like he has sort of like, or he or she or whoever have has some sort of journalism background or something. And they're always like really deep, kind of not super deep, but like deep enough where like you have to think about them and they're more important. And it's not
yep,
just
yep.
like off the cuff, like what are you having for lunch today? It's always like
Yes.
industry specific and like
Yep.
something that's current and what do you think about this and yeah,
Yeah.
it's good, it's good to have that, and especially to kind of close it out, to have something kind of thoughtful about gaming and see how we answer
A
it.
little more highbrow, yes.
Yeah,
But yeah, you make a good point. Like I know Selden sort of figured out who Alteus was, but like we still don't know Alteus's background. But that may make sense. It could be someone I even know that's like a gaming journalist or whatever. Because yeah, the questions are written in a very journalistic way versus the way that I would ask a question or you would or pretty much any of our audience would. Like we ask questions to get to the point versus like these meandering. I don't even know how to describe it, but we'll get to Alteus's question next, and you'll get a perfect example.
yes,
But
speaking of,
yes, but that's how this works, Charisma Devil. So, uh, and last but not least, Alteus asks, we've already seen so many gaming industry layoffs this year. How do you feel the use of AI will further this problem?
um well, I'm hoping that the use of AI will be more like using it to create 50 different types of trees in a minute, and we don't have to farm it out to China or something for that stuff. I'm hoping it's not going to be the get
Create
main
my dialogue.
story.
Yes.
Yeah, main story stuff, dialogue stuff. I'm hoping it's not going to be like that. If it can be used to like take care of some of the menial tasks, the things that are just like busy work, like making little things to stick into settings, then I think that would be a good thing. But I don't know if that's going to be how it'll be used. I think it's going to be used to save as much money as possible and the bottom line, and make some of the bigger games that are taking $1 billion, like maybe having that or quartering that. I think that's what it's probably used for. So,
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel kind of the same way. I think that it's like once you get a taste of something, then you're like, how much more could I take? Like, there's whole
yeah,
episodes of Black Mirror about very things like this, where someone gets into something and then they just keep spiraling out of control with it.
yeah,
And I think it's very possible. Like, yeah, sure, you start with like, oh, create me some frogs, and then you're like, oh, well, create me some people, and then you're like, write my code. Now, great, that escalated quickly, but still, uh,
Chat GPT, make me a game. Make me Gran Turismo 8.
and use GT 1 through 7 as
Your base.
your
Yeah.
model. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's probably a slippery slope, and I don't think we've seen the end of the layoffs yet. I think that with all these studio closures uh, and all these kind of budget cutting and everything else going on, I don't think we've seen the end of layoffs. And like I've mentioned before, the gaming industry is very different than a real software company where they bring, even though they're employees, they're really more like contract employees where they bring them in and then lay them off and then bring them back in and then lay them back off. Not a good, like, secure way to go through life and work. Um, and AI is probably only going to add to this. So yeah, I don't see this as a good thing,
Yeah. We'll
but we'll
see.
see.
I'm hoping that I'm just hoping. I don't know. I like you said, if anybody's new getting into coding, don't code for games. But we
Yes.
do need coders for games. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully this isn't going to be like, now we don't need coders for games because we have Chat GPT making them for us. So
Yeah, it's just not a secure industry. If you're getting married, if you have kids, like you want some job security that's not, hey, do your contract for these 2 years uh and then we'll see what happens after that. Like no, you
yeah.
want a job where you can go and trust that they'll want you there every day. And just because you finish one project doesn't mean that you don't get moved on to another project. No other industry does this. I'm still
Well,
not sure how this is even legal, uh, but yeah, AI can only add to this issue. So
yeah, and I mean, I don't think they're hiring them on like a contract basis. Like it's not called that, I don't think. It's not like
no,
you're like in the electricians union, you have a contract to do a job and then you go do a job somewhere else and somewhere
right.
else. It's not like that. And I mean, I guess if you knew it was going to be like that going into it, and you're like, this is a contract, I'm doing it for X amount of years, and then it's over, and I'm going to go somewhere else. If you knew that ahead of time, then maybe it would be different. But it's like you get this team all together, you get used to working with each other, make these specific game series, and then you all get laid off. Then they want to make that another game in that series, and then do you get hired back? Do they hire more people that don't know what's going on with the series to continue it? And that's going to be crappy.
Or
So
have
I don't
people
know.
moved on to other jobs because
Yeah,
that company didn't hire them back? Yeah, it,
right.
it it's just I have so many friends in this industry and all I hear is misery. And especially lately it's been all of the Facebook posts have been like commiserating with my former brethren over at X Studio. um yeah,
I just don't
it's
know why it used to be like more like you get hired on and you're part of a team and you that's your job. It's your day in day out job and you're on this team. It's like you're a line head or something, and then you're just on line head and you're just part of that team. And then whenever
you make
you work
game
on the next
one, then you
game, and
make
then
game
you
two, and you make game
two,
three,
then
and you
game
make game
three,
four. Yeah,
exactly. But
yeah,
now, well, why is it not like that anymore? Is it because games cost so much that they just can't keep people on a payroll in between
yeah.
while they
Well,
decide if they're going to make the next game? Or
well, yeah. If you think back, like look at great early PC games like King's Quest and Police Quest and Space Quest. That all those Sierra Online games. That was Ken and Roberta Williams, two people, a husband and wife team, did those games. And you're not doing a game with two people anymore. It's
no,
hundreds and hundreds, and you take those salaries and you multiply it out, and the game has to make a certain amount of money. But then you don't self-publish games. You have a publisher that publishes games. So there's money there that's spent to promote the game and put it out. Um, so yeah, I can see it's a lot more expensive than it used to be, but yeah, this model sucks. So
I mean, you could make games that are cheaper with much smaller teams, but they're going to take a lot longer and they're not going to be like what people have come to want with all the realism and 3D stuff. They'll be a lot smaller and a lot less ambitious graphics wise, but that doesn't mean the story's got to suffer. It can still be a good story. It's just maybe you don't have so many people to code it to make it look like completely realistic. Well, that's fine by me. And I don't know if the companies are kind of like they're in this far and now everybody wants it look like this. Now everything has to look like that. Everything has to be GTA 6 and it doesn't have to be like that. But I mean people still play Minecraft. Kids play Minecraft and
it's like shit.
Fortnite looks good, but it's not like the best looking game ever. And all that stuff gets all sorts of eyeballs on it. So I don't know why it's always we have to make the best looking, biggest game ever. Can you not just make something like in the $30 range? There are no more like double A games anymore. It's either
No, it's always
triple A
AAA or indie.
or single or
Yes, yeah.
indie. It's like there's
Or the
no
Seldon's games. Yeah, yeah.
kicking him while he's not here.
That's what we do.
Uh,
All
yeah,
right.
but I would like a lot more single A games, I would say.
And maybe those are the companies that AI would help if someone's making a single A game
Yeah,
and they use AI to do their graphics. So who knows? I
yeah.
I don't know if it's
Make a
going
lot
to
of
be
trees.
a bigger problem, Alteus, but my guess is yes. So,
Yeah, good question though.
all All right. Well, if any of you have great questions or comments like these, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And on that, why don't we hop on over into what we're playing? See, you could have done this, Brian. You totally could have done that because you know that this is exactly what I
.com.
say. Shadow, what have you been playing this week?
So I finished up, well, it's I guess the last 2 weeks I finished up playing Batman Arkham Origins, finished that story, which was
Wow.
fine. I tried to go back and like do a new game plus and pick up some. So I missed one Riddler thing, and it's because it glitched on me. One of the doors didn't open. It's just a bug. So I basically have to go halfway through the game again just to get to that one door and hope it opens to get that one. I may do that still because it really bugs me when when
But
that
what if you
happens.
go through that and it doesn't open again?
That's right. If it doesn't open, it's just no one really talked about it online as happening to them except for like one person's. I'm like, well, it could have just been a glitch, and maybe I'll do it this time because you have to hit a switch and the door's supposed to open, and then you get the pack on the floor, and it just didn't open. So anyway, I might do that. I went and played through the rest of the Alan Wake 2 DLC. I kind of saved it a little bit, and then I go, all right, I'm just gonna go through it, and it was
Nice.
great, but super short. I wish it was longer because. Yeah, I love that game. I love Alan Wake. And the next one I think is gonna be maybe this fall, possibly the Lake
Ooh.
House, the because
So
there
you
was
got
two
some time.
DLCs.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's this fall. I don't know if it'll be that early, but it could be. And that'll probably continue the story. Because this one was sort of a one-off where it was like three different episodes of sort of Twilight Zone type things.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
there were characters from the game, but it had not much to
Not
do with the
really
game. They were like
connection
little
to it. Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was cool though. They were fun. And I finished those. And then I found out that Forza Horizon 4 was being delisted from the marketplace in December. And I went and I go, oh yeah, I always play those games for a little while and I kind of put them down and forget about them. So I played 3, 4, and 5 on game. Well, I played 4 and 5 at Game Pass. 3 wasn't Game Pass, so I did buy that one. But 4, I'm like, oh yeah, I have that on Game Pass, but they're going to take it off Game Pass and they're going to delist it. But if you had already previously bought the DLC, any DLC before they took them down recently, then you got a code for that game, which I actually just told Derek about, and they just got it. And so you got the game, the whole game. So I did that, and I just started to play it. And what's funny is they're not going to be taking down the servers, but I just started to play it just because I felt like it, and then I've like gotten like 60 achievements on the last couple days, just kind of been blowing through it. It's just fun. So I've just kind of been getting through that entire game. I'll probably complete it by next week, achievement wise. I'm like level two. I'm level like 200. I started at like 30 a
Fair
couple
enough.
a week ago. Yeah, I've been playing against a lot of Drivatars. I was noting to Selden that one of his Drivatars was giving me some trouble, so told him about that. But and also yours. Yours is
Oh,
it's
nice.
you and Selden. You're up there. It's like you're always like 1 and 2 in the starting line. I don't know why.
Mm,
But
just how we
and my
roll.
son too, which is weird because he just never played it before. But
Oh, that's weird. Yes. Yeah.
actually, he probably played it, but he played it on my account because it's before he had an
Okay.
account. Because it came out in 2018 and he was like 5. So
Mm.
anyway, that's what I've been playing. How about you, Derek? Sorry, during a drink. Sorry, apologize for that. I
Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Whew. Wrong
Down
pipe.
the wrong pipe. Yeah.
Um. I did nothing, but wow, I have no
I
voice.
can continue if you want me to.
I know I
What
played a
else have I been playing?
teeny bit more of Humanity this week, but that was it. So
Okay, I gotta check that out. I do like Lemmings. I know it's not exactly like that, but it kind of has that vibe a little bit.
Lemmings ish vibe. Yeah, it
Yeah,
scratches an
yeah.
itch that hasn't been scratched in like 40 years. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to play Lemmings on my buddy's I don't know, some sort of computer he had at his parents' house, which we didn't have computers back then. I think it was like 89, 90, and he had Lemmings and it was the best. I
Yeah.
love that thing. I
They had
love
all the
blowing up.
different
Like
lemmings
you'd
that you
get the
could put, like
guys
the
and the
guy that
last one
was
you blow
like
up,
hold their
you,
arms
you
out
hold
and
them,
turn
yeah,
them. Yes, yeah,
and it
yep, yeah.
bounce back and forth and yeah, yeah, that was good. And the parachutes and or
Exactly. Yes, yeah.
the
No,
umbrellas, yeah. Anyway,
this one
yeah,
isn't
that's
quite
cool.
the same, but it's still got that fun kind of vibe to it, and it's
Cool.
um it's a puzzle game where you're like, oh, I have to get from here to here, but how do I do that? Um,
Okay.
so yeah, it's
Nice.
fun,
Nice.
and it's I think it's free. Did I buy this or did I just pull
It's
it
on
down on
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
cost you anything to play. So, well,
Yeah.
assuming you have
Yeah.
Game Pass,
If
but
you
yeah,
have Game Pass, which
who
you should
doesn't?
because it's the
Yeah,
best deal.
yep. It's becoming less of the best deal, but yes, it's still the best deal around. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, on that, why don't we hop on over into new releases? And previously, I had said there were no major new releases this week, but Shadow helped out, and he said Neon White out for the Xbox. It was already released for PlayStation and Switch back in 2022, but this comes out this week, and I know nothing about this game. So,
I just knew that it was really popular when it came out. I think it's like a card based role playing game,
okay, yeah,
possibly.
I did see cards
Um,
in some photos today where
yeah.
it was like there's a card and then it says demons up in the corner, and then who knows. But
Yeah.
as you
I
can see
mean,
from our graphic here, it's pretty fucked up looking.
yeah. Yeah. I heard such great things about when it came out. It got like nines and like nines, 9.5s when it came out. So
Hmm.
I figured some of our listeners might be interested in that if they have an Xbox and that's their only system that it's coming out on the 11th. So if you're interested in that, it's coming out. I don't think it's like a full $60 game, but I could be wrong. Um, and it's by Annapurna, which they make great stuff. Like so many things, and they make movies too, right? Not just games, I
I
think.
think so.
Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they anytime that name comes up, I go, "Oh, this could be good." So, but it's got great reviews. So hey, if you're waiting for that to come to something you can play it on, you only have an Xbox. Yeah, it's your week.
Yeah. Not for me. No. But
All right.
I appreciate it exists.
Sure.
It gave people jobs for a year or two before they got
There
laid
you
off.
go.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah. Ugh.
all right. Well, that was the only new release out this week. So, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you're in chat right now, you want us to discuss something, post in the chat. Other than that, we'll just hop right over to gaming news. First story. Blumhouse Games is more than a year ahead of schedule. So this is not what you hear in the gaming world. So Blumhouse, who you know from Blumhouse Pictures, that does the schlocky, cheap, but good horror movies,
Yeah.
um, they set out to make a gaming studio that would create cheap yet good horror games. And they had set an original path on like three or four titles that they were working on. Um, and literally, they're a year ahead on their development schedule from when they planned on releasing their first game. So I don't know how Blumhouse does this. I don't know how they do it with their movies. Like, you look at their movies, and on paper, most of them should be shit, but they're all really good. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's the same thing with the games, but yeah, to be a year ahead of schedule on a game is unheard of. Usually it's how far are you behind? Um, and this is a brand new studio with brand new employees. Um, these people may or may not have worked together before in the past, but they're obviously doing something right. And I'm just good on Blumhouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean their first game, it's coming out this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It is
That was the
Fear
one
the
that was,
Spotlight. But they've
yeah.
got like a sleep all these are TBA. Sleep Awake, Creasel, Theater of Idols, Grave Seasons, The Simulation, Project C. I mean, that's five games that they're
Oh, so
already
it's five. So
TBA.
I said four, but yeah, five. So it's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, five
Yeah,
plus the one that's coming out this year, so that's
yeah,
six. I mean, that's awesome. And
yeah,
yeah, I mean, their movies are, I mean, sometimes they can be hit or miss, but I mean, overall, if I see Blumhouse on screen and watching a horror movie, I go, maybe it won't be the best movie ever, but it's going to be fun and it's
yep,
going to have
yep,
something interesting to watch in it.
exactly.
Like, I mean, they did Megan. But
Megan
and they
was
also did
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah. And then I mean they did the Halloween reboots, the
Yep.
Halloween
Yep.
Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. The Black Phone was really, really
Yep.
good. So I mean
Black
that's all
Phone
just
was.
movies they've done,
Yep.
but you know, they I mostly I would say I trust them if I see them on something. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, cool.
So
Good
obviously
for them.
now they're gonna win again in video games. So yeah, good on them.
Awesome.
All right, next story.
Nintendo ends Wii U repairs. Earlier this year, Nintendo said it would shut down all Wii U servers, which it did. And so you can't get online with them anymore. And then they said, "Hey, we have some parts left, and we'll repair stuff until we run out of parts." And they've run out of parts. So if you have any Wii U's out there that need repair, you're gonna have to buy some other Wii U's and cannibalize them, or buy some parts off eBay or something, because Nintendo has stopped supporting that. So for those of us out here who repair consoles and mod them and stuff, yeah, if it's broke, Nintendo's not gonna fix it anymore for you. So just FYI, and there's always some way to fix stuff otherwise, because people always have broken stuff to use. But or 3D
Yeah,
printing is really big now. So if you have something that you need that can't be bought, you can probably build it.
yeah,
So,
it's
but
some of the
yeah,
more technical electronic components. I wonder if this will spur an industry for those, like for like the bespoke parts kind of thing, like
yeah,
for circuit boards or
yeah.
ICs or
I mean, it's really hard to break a circuit board unless you like burn it up. I mean, because you can usually just replace capacitors and things. Certain stuff you can't replace, but overall, I mean, chips you can't replace. So if there you have a chip you have to replace, you have to buy another thing and throw the chip in there. But at that point, you're just gonna buy a different one.
you're buying a different thing and
Buy
just
buy a new
combine,
yeah. I mean, you could buy a Wii to use to put to put a chip from
put
that Wii
into
into
your old Wii,
yours, but
or
why
you could
would you
just
do
keep the
that?
new one.
You would
Yes.
just keep the new one. So, I mean, I don't know. I know the Wii U is really, really popular with the modding scene because it can play, if you mod it, it will by default it plays Wii U and Wii, and you
Mhm.
can play all the stuff that you can play on Virtual Console. So you have all
Mhm.
that stuff. You can
Yep.
play GameCube games through a modded console. Technically, you can't if you just stick a disc in there, but you can do image stuff with it. And you can play, N64, NES, SNES, all that stuff, Virtual Console stuff, Game Boy Advance and Game Boy. It pretty much you can do other things too that aren't even Nintendo. So I sold mine because I just didn't use it that much even after I modded it, and I still don't really want one again because I didn't like any of the games that were on it because I didn't like the second screen thing.
No, it's
But
kind of shit. Yeah.
but I mean, if you like that, it's a great system to have because you can mod it and you can play everything. Pretty much everything up until the Wii U, you can play. So even 3DS stuff you can play on there too if you mod it. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, for you modders out there, you'll find a way, but it's done for now.
Yep. No parts.
No parts.
All right.
Next story.
Next story. Seagate's stylish Starfield themed 8 terabyte hard drive gets a massive discount. So, yeah, we all can see why this didn't sell well, but so this is one of those. It's not the little card that goes in the back of your Xbox Series S or X. This is like a standalone external hard drive. Uh, Beautifully colored, painted with the Starfield stuff, 8 terabytes. It was originally like 280, and I think it's down to 150 right now. Which for 8 terabytes for an external drive that plugs into your console, sure, it's not that instant load or any of that stuff that a lot of the Xbox Series X and S games use, but it's perfectly good archival drive for all of your non X and S games. Like I have an external drive that's not the one that plugs in the back, but I also have the one that plugs in the back. So, um,
Mhm.
and that's where I keep my X and S games, and then I put all of my old games on that other drive. And for 150
Yeah.
bucks for 8 terabytes, that's a pretty big steal. Plus, it's something that looks nice on your desk or in your entertainment center or whatever. So I thought this was a great deal. I should probably tell people where this actually comes from. I think it's at Amazon and Best Buy both have it at this price.
Yeah, I think it's kind of across the
Yeah,
board
yeah, they've
discount.
just discounted across the board
But
for not selling it. So
I mean, it's themed, so if you don't want a Starfield looking one, then that might be why it's not selling as well. But I mean, you can get a bare 4 terabyte Western Digital drive for like 100, maybe a little more, and that's just the drive. So if you think double that for only
and with
50
the,
bucks more, and you
the
get enclosure and you just plug it in, good deal.
yeah,
I will say that like you mentioned, you can only use it for things that are not X and S to play off of. 8 terabytes is a lot.
hmm,
And games that are not X and S are a lot smaller. So like
that's
I have a
true
two
too.
terabyte drive plugged into my Xbox, and I have a lot of games on that from Xbox One and 360, and it's not even close to being full.
Nice.
So 8 terabytes might be a lot, depending on how many games you have and how much Game Pass stuff you have, or how much Games with Gold stuff you have. If you want to install it all and just have it there instantly without having to worry about downloading it, do it, you know.
Yeah.
Could be good
Even
for
for the
that,
X and
but
S stuff, you could archive it off and then
that's
move it
true.
back when you want to
Yeah,
play it.
you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true. I guess I don't ever really do that because then it's just a lot of transferring. It's almost faster for me to re-download it than it's just transfer it over, just because I have decent internet. It's
Yeah,
not the best in the world, but it's pretty decent. I think I get 500 down, and I think transferring over it's something like 300, maybe 400
yeah.
from one drive to another. So it might be faster just to re-download it, but for those that it's not, and those who don't have great internet and just want to have it kept forever so they don't have to worry about that
That's
again,
true too.
do
Yeah.
it. Do it. It looks like a little S console
It does.
almost.
With the white
I
and
was
it
I was
has like
looking at it
that
for a second.
little.
I'm like, is it that an S? And then it just has the hard drive in the bottom or something? No, no, it's the hard drive. It's just all a hard drive. So it's hard drive size, I'm guessing, but it looks like an Xbox Series S,
Yeah, they
kind
did
of.
they did great with the design, and if you're someone that likes Starfield, then
Yeah.
absolutely, like this is
Yep.
a no brainer. So,
Yep.
all right, next story.
Netflix, I didn't know this. Netflix's Horizon live action series reportedly not moving forward. There was a Netflix adaptation of that game from PlayStation that was going to be happening that may not be happening anymore. Did you know about this?
I did know about this, but I did not
Okay.
know that it was not going forward until I pulled up this news story today. So,
Okay. So yeah, 2022, Netflix and Sony set up a series adaptation of the Horizon video games from the Umbrella excuse me, Academy SnowRunner SnowRunner showrunner Steve Blackman. I love that show, The Umbrella Academy. So that would have been cool.
mm-hmm.
But
Yep,
unfortunately, there were some allegations against him. So on his working on that show. So I guess that's why it's maybe not happening. That show's actually ending in August. It's coming back in August, and then it'll be done. So yeah, it's a cool show. So unfortunately, it won't be moving forward for that. But I guess good reasons why. Maybe, I mean, maybe someone else would be able to do it, but and I don't imagine they will probably figure that out before they can actually make it. I'm sure everyone will get released from their contracts or what have you.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, that sucks. But I didn't even know it was happening, so I guess I can't be that sad, but
yeah. You had nothing. You
you
had no
know,
stakes in the game. Nothing to lose. So
I
yes.
didn't. And then I go, "Oh, I like that show. Oh, this guy had allegations. Well, that's not good. Okay, well, so then never mind." Anyway, that's that story.
All right, next story. Possibly the most delayed video game in history is finally available on, of all things, the Game Boy Advance. So there was this game called Kien or Keen uh, that has been in development hell for 22 years. This makes Duke Nukem look like that was no big deal. Like 15 years, boom. Uh, so there is actually a new Game Boy Advance game coming out that does anybody still have a Game Boy Advance? Like,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of collectors do.
but do they
It's a
still
big deal.
work?
I mean,
Yeah,
oh yeah. A lot of people replace their screens, so they are like IPS
Okay.
screens. They look a lot better and actually play them because you can't play those old ones. They suck.
No, they did suck. Yes, yeah. Uh, so I thought this was kind of crazy. I didn't even know that this game was stuck in this development hell for all this time. But
Yeah.
for a game to come out for a 25-year-old console 22 years late is nuts.
I
It's
mean,
who
when
else
I
would do
saw
this?
I I mean, there's still games coming out for Master System in other
Well, I guess, and
countries.
they do have those bespoke Atari games that they keep releasing on cartridges. That these guys are like, oh yeah, buy our indie game
Yeah,
on a cartridge, but it's not
yeah, but
really an Atari game.
that's not a new game though. That's just like we put this old game or this game that's already been out on there. This is like, hey, we finally finished this game and it's finally coming out, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
that's
when
a
you posted this and I didn't see it, I didn't see what the game was at first. I go, is this Mother 3? Is Mother 3 finally coming out on Game Boy Advance? But
no,
no, nope, it's not. Yeah, that would have been cool. But
yeah,
yeah, that's cool. I mean, I was watching something today where about the Jaguar and about the Tar Jaguar from that came out in like 93,
yep, yep,
94. And at some point when Atari got like bought or they a lot of stuff happened and then they ended up releasing the rights to the Jaguar and saying, anybody who wants to make a game for this is fine. You make it, we're not going to stop you. Go ahead. And
yep,
so people were making games for that. I saw a game from like 2012 come out on the Jaguar
yeah.
on a cartridge. And I'm sure there's
Crazy.
probably still people making stuff like that. And there's other systems where people make stuff where the companies have said that's cool. If if they didn't say it's cool and they could get sued for it, then it's probably not going to be like an official game. But these are actually official games. Like this is an official game. The Jaguar one was too. There'll always be like, games people make that put out kind of bootleg type stuff, but this is an official game, so that's cool. I mean, people still like this stuff and cartridges and limited run games are making a big comeback.
Yeah, those limited
That
run ones are
that
hugely
site
popular.
is
Yes, yeah,
going crazy. I mean, that stuff, it's ridiculous. I
it
bought
is. Yeah,
they're doing the Alan Wake 2 special edition, and I bought that because I'm
of
crazy.
course.
I did. It came with a whole lot of stuff. But when I got there and then I went to my local game place and I noticed they were reselling a lot of limited run games in like their glass cases, I noticed that it's just as soon as that stuff goes off sale and it's never going to come back again, the value just skyrockets and something that costs $100 is now worth $500 and it's ridiculous and people will
So
pay
why
it,
not just
I
buy them all?
guess.
Just buy each thing. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you could. It has to be something popular, but you know, once it's limited runs, so once it's done, it's done. That's not what this is, though. So that's really cool
no,
that they're releasing this later because there are people that will buy it, and hey, it's sort of like you said, it's kind of like Duke Nukem Forever and stuff, but Duke Nukem Forever sucked, and I hope this doesn't suck.
yes, it did suck. Yeah, go see
So we'll
my
see.
tool to play article from when that released.
Oh man,
So yes. All
I
right,
played that
next
game.
story.
Ubisoft is still trying to make NFTs happen. Stop trying to make NFTs happen, Ubisoft. The French publisher has partnered with Double Jump Tokyo to bolster Web3 integration on upcoming multiplayer RPG Champions Tactics. Don't do it. Stop.
Just be
They've
done.
been I don't get it. So Ubisoft came out with that NFT platform, the Quartz NFT platform in 2022 when things were getting big with NFTs, and then nothing really happened with it. I remember that some other company was doing that too. Maybe it was just Ubisoft. There were
No,
probably a
there
bunch of
were
them that were
at
doing it,
least
but
two or three major developers that were
probably
trying to
things
work
in
NFTs
Steam
in.
and
Yes, yeah.
who knows. But yeah, so they are trying to do this with this game, Champions Tactics. So yeah, I think it's more that I think this story was kind of posted as a stop doing this type of thing, but
Yes,
it
yep,
is news, and so you should know about it so that you can be mad about it too. What do
yes.
you think, Derek?
I'm not an NFT person. I know even. my good buddy Kevin Smith, he dipped into the NFT world with all his unique token drops and all these things. And but I think we've all got to the point where we realize that non-fungible tokens are non-fun tokens. So see what I did there?
And you can't funge them. They're
Yes, and you
non-fungible. You
can't
can't
funge them.
funge them.
Yes, no,
No,
they're
no.
definitely can't funge.
It's not good to have. Just you can't funge them. Yeah, I mean it's cool to have as like a fun like just playing around type thing.
Yeah, but
But
not
when people
not
try
as
to
part of the
like
you
an
know
economy thing,
exactly. Yes, yeah.
don't don't invest in them. I know that I had friends that got into NFTs when Bitcoin was getting big again and all that,
They
and
bought
then
all
they got
their apes. Yeah,
yeah, then they were really sorry about it later. So
yeah.
don't do this, Ubi, and if you do, people don't buy them.
People will
Don't do it.
rebel. So.
Don't do it.
All right. We can stop stories whenever since there's only two of us, but I'll do at least one more.
No,
Next
it's okay.
story. You can now play the Cut Witcher 3's cut boat races thanks to modders. So this is something that and there's been multiple of these Witcher 3 things where people found these things in the code that was shipped that were pulled out of the game, and they have re-enabled these things, the modders. So there was something that was going to be in Witcher 3 where you could race these giant I don't even know what you call them back in that time, but like giant boats with sails that are not sailboats. They're like skiffs or whatever you want to call them. But
Ships.
yeah, they're ships. Yeah, yeah, that's a good word for them too. Um, but yeah, like just people have jumped in the code and found these things that are in the game and have brought them back to light, even though they were cut by the developer. So I I think it's kind of cool. Like I saw three distinct stories. I didn't want to put all three in here of different things that people found in The Witcher that they have now re-enabled after the fact. Um,
Yeah.
so
That's cool. I mean, it's all PC, I'm sure, so
yes,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
never play it, but I don't that boat races don't sound fun to me, so that wouldn't be something I'm interested
The
in, but I
picture
think it's
looked
cool that
pretty
they
cool.
found it.
The
Okay.
picture that came with the news story, it was like two boats fucking racing with their giant
Yeah.
one big square sail, and like maybe that's why they cut it to begin with because people don't like racing old school boats. But
Well, I mean, people do. They liked Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I
no,
just
that's
didn't
true.
like the boat part of that. So that's just me. It's just a personal thing, but
Yeah.
I think that Witcher 3 just had a lot of stuff. It
Oh, it had
was
so
it
much.
was
Yeah,
just so much stuff. So I'm sure it was more of like, all
we
right,
need this
we have
too.
enough. We have
Yes.
enough. The, this doesn't need to be part of it.
Yeah.
It's
No,
too
no. Tiff
much.
played that game for months and months and months, and I remember all the
Yeah.
weird romancing shit that she was doing, and then
Yeah.
just everything about that game. There was just like you
Yeah.
could deep dive into any of these side things and spend like isn't that the one that also had like a card game built into it that you could
Yeah,
play?
Gwent.
Yes, yes, yeah. So
And then they made their own, I
then
think
they
it was
made
like a
their own
separate
side.
game.
Yes, yeah.
It
So
was like you just get the Gwent game.
yeah.
I started to play that. I tried to play it for achievements and stuff, and I did not understand it at all. I
Mm.
would just start to throw some cards down and lose, and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just done. I don't care about these achievements.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
but
no,
it
Tiff
was
played
fun.
the
I mean, I
shit
did
out of
everything
that.
else.
So
Oh,
yeah.
I played so much. I love that game. I just
So now you can
I don't
go
know.
boat race,
I
even though you don't like
I
boat
hope there's a
races.
Witcher 4. I hope
Yeah,
there's a Witcher 4 someday, but at this point, who knows? It sounds like
yeah.
CG Project Red is sort of
They had some
getting colder
failures.
on that.
That
I don't
was
know.
well, maybe they want to go back to their bread and butter
Well,
instead of sticking with Cyberpunk. But then again,
I
they
feel like
fixed Cyberpunk, so yeah,
yeah, I think Cyberpunk kind of turned the corner and the Phantom Liberty DLC is supposed to be really good.
yep,
I
yep.
haven't played it yet
I haven't either.
because I don't know if listeners remember, but I beat that game like right in like August completely 100%, and then they go, ah, there's DLC coming out next month. Great. And it changes everything. Like, all right, well,
It,
I don't want to change everything. I just finished it. I think it's more for people who beat it a long time ago and or they
or people that
started to
gave
play it and
up on it.
they
Yeah.
gave up, they didn't like how it worked, and they go, "Oh, we're gonna change up some stuff. It's gonna be better and different." And I decided I didn't want to just completely change everything all of a sudden after I played it for 50 hours. And so I'll play it at some point, but I think they're really kind of turning the corner. I think they kind of figured out what people didn't like about what they did previously, and they had a lot of they had problems with the game. They had problems with like the sexuality in the game and the trans stuff that they were kind of being disrespectful about, I think. And I think they kind of learned some lessons there. But overall, like I still loved Cyberpunk after I had returned it and got my money back.
And
And then like a
then went
year
back to it.
and then
Yes,
like a
yes.
year later I bought it for $10 and then I finished it. Or
Yeah.
then I finished it like a year or two later after that. I mean, I kind of sat there because it was on sale and I just bought it and let it sit there because I had too many other games to play, but I finally
Yeah.
beat it and it was good. So who knows? Maybe they'll make another Witcher. I hope someday down the road. But at this point, we just have to kind of settle for the Witcher season 4 that's coming out
With
without,
the wrong actor. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the
The
Hemsworth.
lesser Helmsworth. Yes, yes.
Yeah, the lesser Hemsworth. We'll see. I mean, I saw some pictures and he looks very similar, but it's not going to be the same.
No, it's not.
It's just not going
Because
to be the same.
there's
So
something about that Henry Cavill doing uh Geralt's voice, which
I
is
wasn't sure about Cavill at first either. I was like, that
oh, I didn't think that
Geralt's
was a good casting
older.
either. No one did. No,
No,
yes. Yeah,
like
but
he's old and he's
he
not
pulled
old.
it off.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So anyway,
all right. Do you want to do another story or you want to move
sure.
on? Your choice. All right.
Nintendo. Yeah. So next story.
Next story.
Uh, Nintendo sees potential in generative AI, but won't make games created by technology alone, quote unquote. For now, Nintendo's focusing on people, not technology, to create its games. I think this fit in well with what we were talking about earlier. I
Yes.
think that that is the way to go. I think use it as sort of like a fix for certain things, to use it for making mass amounts of little things to put in games, but mostly use people to make the games. I think that's the way to go. So
Like we always have.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah, that sounds the best for me. Use it for things that are just kind of busy work that you always farm out to other lesser companies uh, to get pieces to put in.
Or third world
Do it for that.
countries. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, or wherever that they buy them from and pay people to make them. They could
Mm.
they could use that instead and then keep it more kind of in-house for the rest of it. So
Exactly.
I hope that's what they're doing. I don't know who Nintendo uses for that sort of thing or if they just do it all themselves, but if they do it all themselves, maybe that's why things take a little longer there. Plus, all they do is make games.
This is true.
Then maybe that will help them kick out games a little quicker. Maybe Metroid Prime 5 won't take 10 years. We'll
This is
see.
why they take some 8 years to put out a new console. And
Yeah, that's true.
yes. All right. I'm not going to do this story, but
Okay.
last story I put this in here for Selden. I figured he'd pick this up, but since he blew us off, the only thing I'm going to read is the title, and we're not even going to dip into this at all. Escape from Tarkov is offering uh plates. What the fuck does that even mean?
Plates?
That's not uh oh, players. Escape from Tarkov is offering players in-game currency as a bounty for reporting cheaters. So, yeah, this is a cool thing. Um,
Nice.
I'd like to
Making
see
people
more play.
turn on everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd like to see more of
Awesome.
this, but yeah, I'm not going to discuss this because I've never played Escape from Tarkov or whatever the fuck it's called. Have you played this?
I have not. No.
No. So that's a Seldon game. So fuck it. All right. Well,
All right.
that wraps up our news stories. So if any of you have stories you want us to talk about next week, and we will have a show next week, Give us a call at 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com or comment on this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you'd help support Still Got Game, but we don't have any sponsors. So, if you'd like to sponsor the show, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You tell us what you're selling, we'll tell you you're going to pay us. We'll sell it, you pay us, boom, done! Twitter us up.
No one else can do that.
No one can do that. No, that has been crafted over years and years, and sometimes I do it better than others. Tonight I was dead the fuck on, but there's nights where it does not come out good, and I can see from Shadow's face on those nights that when it's not going well. But yeah, it went pretty well tonight. Twitter's up. You can find everything Tool Player at twitter.com/tooltoplay. Everything podcast released at twitter.com/still_got_game. Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/tooltoplay. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/tooltoplay. That's where you can find all of our archived video content, including Selden's porn channel, including Hits Quick Hits, including every episode of Still Got Game, Tiff's immature interviews, everything is there. So it's like you have this instant library of every bit of content that Tool Play has ever put out. So yeah, go there, youtube.com/toolplay, and enjoy yourself. Please rate and review the podcast on iTunes. We need some 5-star reviews. I'm pretty sure there's also some bullshit fake ass app podcast store on Android, like for losers. But if you're one of those guys, give us 5 stars there too. Yeah. Like we could use that. We now know that there's Amazon podcasts. Go there, 5 stars. If they even do stars, maybe they just
Spotify, maybe
Spotify. Yeah, like any of these, wherever you listen to our podcast, go there and upvote us. And if you have an extra 5 seconds, write a little something nice. Just look, Shadow's hair looks much more muted this week. He's not so redhead. Oh, now he's redhead. No, yeah, you can't tilt.
No, got the shine going.
Got some sheen there. See, my hair's so short right now. So.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that's the
mini man bangs. Yeah. So we kind of got off track there. Shadow and I were complimenting each other's hair, but yes, we're back on the program.
Okay, we're confident. It's all right.
Yes. So we also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/still_got_game. That is the replacement for twitch.tv/tooltoplay, which we could not multi-stream on, but now we may be able to, so that may be coming back, but I'm trying to work on the contractual details of that. But twitch.tv/still_got_game. We have like no fucking followers there, even though we had shitloads on the Tool to Play one. So please go there and follow us. We have a Discord channel. That's discord.me/stillgotgame. That's discord.me/stillgotgame. Based on today, Selden doesn't fucking answer shit there. But Shadow and I, we were both pretty active on there today, answering each other almost instantly. So yeah, now the pecking order has changed, Selden. Yeah, fucking.
I mean, it couldn't be that he was like in the forest.
Well,
that could be
no excuse.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't use that as an excuse. He has a phone.
No excuse.
He obviously sent you a picture from there, so I'm pretty sure he had fucking internet. But
let him enjoy his hammock. He's fine.
But most days, Shadow will be there to answer all your questions. Selden
and most nights.
Yeah, and most nights, yes, yeah. Because as we heard, Shadow only sleeps like an hour a night.
Honestly.
But yeah, or doesn't sleep at all. He's a vampire. Anyway, Selden though will sometimes be there a lot unless he's camping. And then Tiff's never there, and Jan's never there. Like everyone else is unreliable, including myself.
Blue Steel's there.
Oh yeah, Blue. If you want to go in those channels, Blue has some complaint about everything I say on every episode of the show. So Blue, what did I do wrong today? Just asking. So yeah, that's discord.me/StillGotGame. And on that, shout out to anything you want to pimp this week.
Uh, Nothing in particular. I haven't really thought about, but I think pretty much just I have my link tree, which has all my things that I'd like to pimp out for my charities and my everything, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, blah blah blah. It's link well, you know how it is. Linktree Brian S. Emerick, Brian Semerick. And all my stuff's there, so take a look there. But I don't have anything particular this week. How about you?
Well, all my shit and all the show shit is at linktree/Derek Nolan. That's linktr.ee/Derek Nolan. I think the only thing that other than juvenile diabetes and American Cancer Society, some stories that I saw this week in the news had things to do with organ donation, and I am full disclosure. My driver's license does not say organ donor on it, because I feel like if you're in an accident and there's like the guy comes and works on you and he has like someone in his family that needs an organ, he might not work as hard. But there is a need for organ donors that aren't Derek D. Smooth Nolan. So definitely sign up to be an organ donor. Give your organs to people
That's like
upon
me,
your
like when you're upon your whatever. That's
yes.
like me, like I hate giving blood. I'm kind of squeamish about it, but
Mm,
I try to help with blood drives. Like I do the other things,
yep.
or I try to get people to come, but I just
But
personally
you
I
can't do it
don't. But
yourself. Yes, yeah, no.
but I do try to get people to help out with
Yeah,
that. So and I
and
have
that's what I'm
helped out
trying
with
to
that
do
in the
right now. I'm
past.
trying to get people to like sign up to give away their organs so that you get shoddy paramedic service too.
Yeah, help in any way you can.
Yes, yes. Um, so yeah, that's what I would recommend. Because I have seen a friend of mine that I used to work with, you know, 6, 7 years ago, just had a liver transplant, and from the Mayo Clinic down in Florida, their version of the Mayo Clinic. Um, and yeah, he was out in the hospital in 4 days and up and doing well, and yeah, so
That's awesome.
yeah, so organ transplants are a great thing, and if you are so inclined to donate your organs, or uh, of a loved one who has passed away, and you want to share the love, definitely do that. So but yeah, not my thing. So, but I'm here to pimp it, just not to do it. So yeah. I was pretty clear about that up front, though. So yes,
Just just
I
just in
put
case this is being recorded.
yes, I put it out there on Front Street. My organs are mine, but you should give yours away. Yes, yeah. All
It's
right.
good for thee, it's not good for thee, or no, the opposite.
Exactly.
It's good for thee, it's not good for me.
All right. I want to remind you all, you can join us each and every Monday night, at least for next week, and maybe not for a little longer. And then the next week will be off. Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at youtube.com/tool to play, facebook.com/tool to play, twitch.tv/still_got_game, x.com/tool to play, and kick.com/still-got-game. And on that, why don't we wrap this Fuck Selden episode up? I am Dirk D. Smooth Nolan.
I am oh wait, no. I am Brian Shadow Emmerich.
And we'll be back next week, and hopefully Selden will be here. Hopefully. Maybe.
Hopefully.